UPE. One of the brightest in the family, a young lady, was pulled out in 1977 so I could go to P2. And I am the first generation in my family, businessman, entrepreneur. I'm the first person to get a university degree. I am the first person to leave my village and go to Kampala. And I understood that when you get it and others don't, that's a huge privilege and a lot of responsibility on your shoulders that you should not take to the city only, because that word you hear called science is broken into two words, in Latin. One is called science, which is, if you allow me to write here, George, I will use 15 minutes. I don't want to take a lot of people's time. If you do this word science like this, it means to know something and know it so deeply with your heart, with your soul, with your mind. Okay? Now the second word is called sindere, like this. It is Latin. When you combine these two, you get your word science. The word sindere means that which you now know with your heart, with your soul. You break it down like small peels and you feed it to those who didn't have the privilege to know what you know. Are you with me? Now, so I understood that if I have had the opportunity to go to school, whatever I have learned, I have to break it down and make sure that it helps another person, especially the one who didn't have the kind of opportunity that I had. So I took my wife and children from the city to the farm. And we spent some time at the farm, and I will tell you the story of that farm and where we are. But before I do that, let me tell you, one of the biggest challenges we have as leaders, as educated people, is failure to understand the forces that propel any society from poverty to wealth. There are three, if I can just run very, very quickly, because if I don't anchor this there, you will think maybe the farm is what it is because Audrey is this and this is how he looks today. So I want to anchor this for you so you understand. If we assume, are we able to see here, all of us, or it's too far? If we assume, take society as layer 1, like this, let's take it as a step 2, and then step 3. There are 3 things that you have to do. South Korea has done this, what I'm going to share with you. Singapore has done it. America did it. Britain did it 300 years ago. There are certain things that you have to do, especially as the educated people, in order to have a better country. There are 3 revolutions. The first one, but you don't move from one unless you've finished the first step. This is called a political revolution. What does it mean very quickly? That a people consciously awakened, liberate themselves from social, political, and other forms of problems. You know, the meaning of the word movement, I've been running in the movement, which is another story I don't want to share here. The meaning of the word movement means a conscious awakening of people to discover who they are and liberate themselves. This political means that the right to choose leaders is returned to you. You have the right to vote. This means that the soldier holding a gun is not responding to forces outside your community. You choose the kid who holds a gun. That's why UPDF UPDF has a quota every district, whoever is recruited. That the security of a community lies in the hands of its people. Let me give you an example. I was running in a village called Kampala in Pacha, sub-county, early morning, 6 o'clock. I was stopped by a group of people, and they said, "Who are you?" I was running, just exercising my legs, and I said, "Who are you?" They said, "No, you can't pass until you tell us who you are. Who are you running in our village?" So I said, "Here is my ID, and so and so. I stay at someone's house." And then a lady called, I think it's Doris. She said, "Very good. Thank you for telling us here because we are going to arrest you." So I said, "But who are you, Doris?" She said, "I am the LC1 of this village, chairperson. I am also the chairperson of the movement." I walked her with the lesson. You can't take away the security. Security is not in police and the army. It is the consciousness of people at that village who know that any insecurity spotted by someone who they don't know, they have to deal with it. Without, I don't want to take a lot of time, without restoring that dignity, that freedom, and by the way, the NRA was composed of, I think the Honorable Minister was thanking governments for peace and security. The people of Bunyoro were part of that revolution that fixed this political situation. Ask me, why is that important? Well, you go and invest in Somalia today, go and invest in Central African Republic, take money to South Sudan. I am sorry, this has not yet been resolved there. Now, when you fix stage one, the next one is called economic revolution. Economic revolution. What does it mean? That now that we know who we are, we can elect our leaders. We ask them to fix roads, electricity, power, education, water, because those are the tools of production. Without them, I cannot do much, even if I'm politically conscious and I am liberated. This, I can tell you, Uganda now does 200 kilometers of new tarmac every year. If you add that in 5 years, that's the distance from Koboko to Kisoro. If you consistently put 3 trillion shillings in that sector, within 10 years, every part of Uganda would have a tarmac road. If you are not upset by any political situation or whatever happens. Without fixing this, you cannot fix level 2. And if I had time, I would tell you some of the values of the movement come from understanding these things. The third one is the most difficult one. Very, very difficult. And that's why I found you guys having a discussion. The mindset revolution. Let me tell you, I was in a village, I won't name it, in eastern Uganda. I know the village very well. I know the tarmac that is there. I know the houses. I know production. I know the weaknesses. There are lines of electricity running, and there's a tarmac. And the kid says, mindset. South Korea, Japan, every country that I know spends some time doing something called teaching. And this is why my brother George is very, very angry. Because leaders should be teachers, right from here all the way here. Because if I am a councillor in a village, if I'm a district chairman, people will never see a minister, people will never see the president, but they see me. They see the maize that I grow, they see the potatoes that I grow, they see my actions. If those actions are wrong, these people, their mindset will never change. Unless we can combine these three things, we are in a bit of trouble. I am running very quickly. We'll have another time to speak about this deeply. I left Kampala in 2010, but really that's like taking your children. But I left Kampala as soon as I finished school in 1993. My father left me with 40 acres of land because since we were 7, I had to ensure that the other ones have a little more than me who had the privilege of going to school. He left me with a few Ankole cows with long horns. You know, Ankole cows carry a lot of iron in the horns, so they don't produce milk. They may have good beef, but it is also tough. And I made what you call a strategic decision, that I'm going to progressively shift my weight progressively to the farm. Why? Because I spoke to you about Saya and Cindy, that I could break down something for my community, but also that I could make money along the way. Now, changing each of those cows aimed at a cow which weighs 550 kg. A cow which weighs 550 kilograms is the cow that gives you 20 liters a day. I'm still struggling to make this bill of 20 liters. This cow that gives you 20 liters eats 20 kgs of feeds every day. Assume a kilo per liter. Have I lost someone behind there?
No.
I go into agriculture and then people are here to educate them. They will say, well, what is he saying? I have 2 university degrees, but I took them back because that's okay. That's fine. In cow dung, in dungarees, there's a lot of wealth. Now, for you to get these feeds, you need very quickly 3 types. You need something called lab, bakete, kamba. Kamba mangile? I think I'm talking about stuff you know.
Yes.
Lab is a nitrogen fixer in the soil, but it gives a cow protein. And it comes along with manure. If the cow has dropped its droppings, it comes back. You also need something called Napier. Napier, you cut it, it has some good cover, it's green, gives energy. Okay? There's something called Centrosema. It's like a butterfly pea in English. It gives calcium. Now, me at my farm, I grow maize, I grow sorghum, I grow some oats, I chop those and put sukari guru. You have a lot of sukari guru from Kinyara. That's where I buy it from. And that is able to stop a cow from roaming tayaya, just going. When the cow does a lot of cut of tayaya, Bunyoro, tayaya, because the energy for walking, when the cows walk a short distance, is converted into milk production. Okay? Now, me, I do these things because I have a price trigger. Again, if you want to change something, look at the price. The price is also important because it's not enough to make something and it doesn't add up. This is the price of milk. It is low in our area. I think it might be high in parts of Bunyoro, 600 shillings. The 600 shillings, if a cow gives me 20 liters, in a month, that's how much? Somewhere around 360,000, I think. I only need 15% of the cost in management, in acaricides. Now in my area we have ticks, maybe in Europe there are no ticks, or they're not too much. I need 15%. 15% of this is like what, 55,000? Are you with me or I've lost you, gentlemen and ladies?
Yeah, okay.
Now, if you have 5 cows, right? This becomes how much? About 1.8 million shillings. If you multiply that by 12, you have the figure that you hear government dangling about household income mindset. Remember the mindset ladder? That's why you discuss household income. You don't discuss household income in politics, not even in economy. It's that level where you begin to think, now that I have peace, now that I have a road, now that there's a market figure called price, can I have household income? That's 21 million shillings if you have only 5 cows. 21 million shillings in a year. Now, this is cows. I can talk about pigs. Do you know the price of pork?